Welcome to the engineering lecture series. Your anchor person is Professor Michael C. Ndinechi. Our topic today is understanding computer jargons using the restroom paradigm. It is a public lecture series which we normally air in the engineering lecture series. As a director of ICT for many years, I try to do some trainings for both knowledgeable people and people who are not very conversant with computers and computer technology. They find it at times amazing on how the computer jargons come to be. So today, we are going to use the restroom experience to let you know and remember computer jargons. So, if you have ever felt lost in take conversation filled with computer jargons, in this fun-filled and relatable video, I've simplified complex computer terminologies using the restroom everyday experience. So let's go. But before then, please follow me in the engineering lecture series by subscribing to my YouTube channel at https://youtube.com/@ndinechimichaelc. Please like, share, and drop your comments in the comment section or reach out to me using my email addresses. As we go on, I would like you to listen to related lectures, related public lectures by visiting Ebony Educational Consult website at www.ebonyeducationalconsult.com for more engineering lectures. There, you will see some lectures like how to earn big in retirement as a professional using the link. Also, what is internet technology? A breakdown for beginners. For those of us who are not very conversant, this lecture will give you everything you need to know about the internet. We also, in that website and in my YouTube channel, we have public lecture titled Top 21st Century ICT Tools for Research and Learning. It is in the website, the link given. Just click on the link and you will get going. We also ventured into letting people know so much about solar energy acquisition and how they will build up their skills to be able to man their solar energy system. Importantly, we developed a public lecture on how to achieve goals as an undergraduate in the 21st century. If you have a word or you're a student, please listen to this lecture. It will help you to set your goals as an undergraduate and succeed in this 21st century. And more so, we've done a public lecture on the development of microelectronics in Nigeria and job creation, what you need to know in the digital economy era. Now, back to our lecture today. If you look at the screen up, you see a familiar item, a restroom. We are going to use this restroom to bring to fore all the computer jargons you have been hearing. Please Follow us to the end, like, share with other people. You don't have to have a prior knowledge of anything, provided you know the picture above, what it is all about. Now, if you look at this picture, you see that there is a place where the ray action takes place. In the computer terminology, the place where the ray action takes place is called the Central Processing Unit, CPU. So, if you see or hear CPU, you liken it to this restroom where the action takes place. Then, after that action has taken place, the normal thing is you try to, do away with it. And what happens? Water will flow from the water container and, remove whatever. That water flow is akin to saying normal flow of operation in your computer system. So in the computer, by the time you input your data, you hit your enter key, some processes take place and result is given. That is the normal flow of operation. So the link between the water sink and the central processing system, in this case, is tagged the normal flow of operation. Now, for that flow of operation to take place, there must be a main storage where you store the water in the figure we are seeing. There must be a function key, the key where you press and action takes place. So in your computer, if you look at the keyboard, you see the function keys from F1 to F12. That function keys help you to perform related activities instead of keying in or giving a command. By the time you just press that function key, it carries out a particular activity. For instance, a function key can help you increase the brightness of your screen. A function key can help you do a save of what you have done. So in your computer, there are 12 such function keys. But in the analogy we are drawing here, you see that that button you press to do the flushing is the function key. In some of these systems, you have 3 of it or different keys. Each one you press perform different function, probably relating to the quantity of water you inject into the system. So we have there the main storage. When we talk of the main storage, you see that in the computer system, you store data or the software or the tools you use to do your work. In this case, the tool you use to do your work is the water, which is in the water sink. So if you press your function key, what is in the main storage takes place. Now, you also see that small plastic that you bring down or raise up when you want to use the system, depending on the usage you want to apply, is called the user interface. You are the user. You are interfacing with the system to do while you are here. So in the computer parlance, user interface could be those graphical user interface that shows you the output or the means through which you put in data into the system. That interface where you meet your computer is called the user interface. So it could be in form of an input device or in form of an output device. When we talk of output devices, it could be the screen, it could be you know the printer where you print out what you have done. So if it is input, it could now be, if it is input interface, it could now be your mouse, your keyboard, or any of the input things. Now, as you do that, at times there will be error, more especially when you are doing your programming. So you have to do debugging. So in this, restroom, you normally see something like this being pointed by the arrow as debugging tool, which when you have fault, you use it to, make sure that there is normal flow restored. So in computer system, we have debugging tools. These debugging tools are mainly softwares that help you to debug, find errors, and correct them. So the process of finding errors and correcting them in the program you have written is known as debugging. So in the restroom, this thing here is a means of debugging. By debugging here, we mean if there is a blockage, you use it to make sure that you restore the flow. So you see the user interface and the debugging tool. Now, again, you see where you put your soft tissue. In the computer parlance, we call it application software. It is similar to application software. Now, what is an application software? It is that software that is developed by experienced professionals to help you do the work you want to do very easily. So here, you see the tissue paper here can be of different qualities. So, but you use it to apply while you are in the restroom, either to clean your hand or any other thing. So we say that it is close to, you can use it to remember what application software is. Then when you press your function key and the water enters into the central processing system, and instead of going out through the normal process, some of the leakages occur. Such leakages is akin to overflow in the computer parlance, which in most cases we call the input-output error. You have pressed your function key, the normal flow of processes took water into the central processing unit, but instead of getting exactly everything to go out, there is a leak. Then you say in computer parlance that there is an overflow, which is akin to input-output error, otherwise known as I/O error. But then, what if you press your function key and there is no water in the water tank there? What you do is you use your small container to carry water from another storage place and empty into either the sink or the central processing unit. Now, you see what you have done is, because you have a backup somewhere where you go and scoop water to do the needful. So in computer system, when you are doing what you're doing and saving, you think of when there is failure. If there is failure, all the things you have saved will be lost. So you have a backup device where from time to time you save what you have done so that in case of fault, you go to the backup and make use of it to replenish what is lost. So that small container you always keep in your restroom in case of anything serves as the backup and is equivalent to backup system that we have in the computer. So now, if you enter your restroom, you see that normally where water enter from, the external source into the water storage tank is there is a knob that you normally turn if there is an overflow or underflow. So it is akin to surge control in computer parlance. Of course, in computer system, there is how you do your work. Probably at times you have, virus, you have some malware, you have to install firewall. So those things are like the control of what comes into your system, into the system from external sources. So you need to control it. In the computer system, we call it surge control device. Now, we have seen previously the application software, where you now put the application software that your computer take from there to process, because the computer takes from where you put your application software to the CPU, central processor unit, to process. So where you keep that is the storage case. Now, if you look at the blue arrow pointing, that is where when you press the function key and the water through the normal flow process carries what in the central processing unit out. So we call it the output device. In this case, in the computer case, your output device could be your monitor, and the monitor can be of any category. It can be, video adapter. It could just be monochrome. It could be, different categories of outputs. It could be, another storage device like your flash, where you output your, what you have done. So the output device could be any of the output devices, printer, monitors, and so on and so forth. So if you go to our engineering lecture series and look up our structure of general purpose computers, you will see all the possible output devices that are there. So if you now look very closely, you remember that we have seen the user interface. So it is from there that the user now input into the central processing system. If you look at the input port, you see how it is pointed into the central processing unit. So the input port enables you, the user, who has been interfaced to the system, to input whatever you want to do. Now, if you look at the base of the central processing unit of our diagram, you see that there is something that is really not part of the system, but is used to hold the system firm to the ground. If that something holding the system firm to the ground is not working very well, that is when we have an error, which we call the overflow. That's something that is holding the system firm to the ground, but is not really part of the system, but necessary for the system to work. It's called the peripheral device or the peripheral hardware device. So in the computer system, you cannot just keep the computer in the air. You have to build a comfortable table for it. You have to build, you know, other things around that will help you make the place comfortable and convenient for you to work. Those things you provide around are called the peripheral devices. And of course, you have what we call the supplementary data or software. Now, if we recall the definition of software, we say that software is anything that you use apart from the physical things you see that help you to understand and perform your function very well. They are not just programs, but all the materials you read, like the documentaries, like the manuals, are all software. So in the restroom, some people normally put, a guide of how to use it. That guide serves as the supplementary software because we have seen before the application software that help you to perform your activities, but sometimes you need this supplementary software to be able to read and understand how to operate the systems. So if you now look at it, you now see the whole thing around. You have seen the input port, you've seen the function key, the main storage, normal flow of operation, surge control, peripheral hardware, debugging tools, system backup, supplementary data, overflow or I/O error, the output, the central processing unit, the user interface, the application software, the storage case. So with that, you see that it is easy for you now to remember all the jargons you normally hear when you are discussing computer technology. As you do that, you will see that it becomes easy for you to remember, and it's fun like using your restroom to remember all the aspects of the computer terminology. But if you look at here, you see that one important thing is missing that is very common in computer terminologies, but it is not really part of the computer. By now, I guess you should know what it is. Let's go. If you look at what we have discussed, you see that something is missing. While we were talking about computer parts, in the restroom, something entered, and that is a mouse. What happened? Scattered so many things, moved very, very fast around the place. So that thing that is not part of the computer, but helps to move things very fast, more especially the cursor within the screen, used to input system, used to perform many functions, but not necessary part of the system, was named after a mouse entered into the restroom to scatter things. And the person shouted, "Ah, mouse." And that is why the mouse you use in your computer has the shape of a real mouse. So if you now include that mouse, you can see that it is not attached to the whole design, but on a separate entity on its own. So you now have the final system that helps you to understand the computer technology. So we hope that this is a fun for you, that you make it available to other people, share with them so that they will become conversant with computer terminologies by just understanding their restroom paradigm. Thank you for listening. Please share and subscribe so that you get notifications when we do other public lectures that will help you to be conversant with the world